We don't have time for the hair, get into it. Now I'm gonna tell you my own story of confusion galore. I went through extreme reaction to it. I blacked out and I was bleeding like non-stop for like 2 weeks straight. On the 3rd week I had to go to the hospital because anemia. Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. If there is one vlog that I wish I watched back then, I would not end up in the situation I'm in at the moment, is this vlog. Oof. The hair is flying, there's so much. In this vlog, I'm taking you through my pap smear, the dilemma I'm currently going through, and something that I could have just avoided if only I knew what I know right now. We're talking about sex, sexual health, and everything in between that gets messed up along the way when we don't have this conversation early enough. You can call your daughter, your sister, even your mother or your grandma. We can watch this vlog together. So just sit down, cozy up, get a drink, get something. We're gonna talk, ladies, because we need to have this conversation. So let's go to the hospital. This is the part where I go to sit with my gynecologist. She gets to tell me more issues. I sat on that platter, I spread it like a buffet, and she went all in, and it was nice. Okay, hey girls, now I'm ready to go do my pap smear. To be honest guys, I'm really scared, and I'm not necessarily scared of the process of doing the exam, more like, I guess, the result and the process of waiting for the result and how that can really push your buttons. I hope it's a woman, because you know I did a vaginal, you all. I did a vaginal, and a vaginal is like a facial for the vagina because I'm trying to look cute or whatever. But I hope it's a woman, because if it's a man and then they see all these beads around my vagina, they'll be like, what's wrong with this one, you know? But I just try to make things more fun for myself, and you know, it's never that serious. And I think it was just a way of me calming my nerves. You know, just sitting in front of someone, spreading your legs and all that kind of stuff, it can be a little bit intimidating or like uncomfortable. But I guess doing all these vaginals and stuff was just a way for me to excite myself for this for this test.
I've been dreaming all night, bringing me some inspiration. Never meant to love no one, but baby, I saw you for a second and I'm happy that you came my way. Don't wanna waste no time without you ever brightening up my days. Never meant to fall so hard.
Growing up, sex was such a taboo, guys, that it was not something we spoke about beyond biology class. The repercussions for having sex was so extreme and so real, especially for women around me. I'm speaking of teen pregnancies, STDs, house girls getting pregnant, abortions, so much stigma, people dying was such a reality for me growing up that I personally vowed to not have sex until I got married. Okay, that's a laughable story in another time, but in my case, at least I knew what not to do, that is have sex. But on the other end, it led to me being completely blindsided and ignorant in terms of what my future would look like eventually when I decide to have sex. Oh my god. The topic around sex and sexual health is that it should come up really early on in life. I'm speaking probably even at the age of 9. And it should be a topic that you have with your parents or with your guardians if you don't have parents. In my case, I internalized the shame and everything around sex so much that this is a conversation that I could have never had with anyone. I'm talking like if my mom came to me talking about sex, I think I would be too embarrassed. I don't think that's a conversation we could have had. And I'm not even here to blame anyone really, because the society we grew up in at the time was very different and how they looked at things were different. But right now, honestly, if you're seated here and if you're watching this vlog and you're not sharing this conversation with anybody, I blame you. I blame you. Even though I restrained from sex and I knew some things like, you know, STDs, HIV and stuff. I wish I knew some of the things earlier and took measures that could have potentially saved my life later on when I finally decide to engage in sexual activity. The numbers are daunting and so heartbreaking how high these numbers are and how easy it is to contract HPV. Yet the information that we have is so little, it's so confusing, and it just leaves us in a state where people are just contracting HPV and they don't know. There's not so much awareness around HPV virus like there is for like HIV and other STDs. And for instance, chlamydia, you can easily just order a test at home, or your boyfriend probably has chlamydia and you know, or maybe somebody develops pimples in weird places and you know if it's herpes or not. HPV is very tricky because you don't know. And how you contract it is so easy. You contract it through any form of sexual activity. I mean, you get HPV by kissing, okay? So oral sex is not safe either. It's never been safe, but like, you know, when you think of sex, anal is top, most risky in terms of contracting diseases, and then vaginal, penetrating, and then oral. With HPV, you can get it even through kissing. At some point, we have been in contact with HPV. The good news is your body is able to fight it off, at least most of it, because you're not necessarily actively infected. So your body, for strong, healthy people, can fight most of the HPV viruses. Some of the HPV viruses cause genital warts, but the one that is the most problematic is the one that causes changes in the cells that, if not detected early and treated, might eventually lead to cervical cancer. And that's why it's very important that you do your pap smear. And the problem is, the changes happen so slowly and so gradually that you will not know. So for instance, by the time you're probably experiencing extreme symptoms, then maybe it has gone far. So that's why it is important. It is mandatory. It is very, very important to go do a pap smear. How do I protect myself, or how can I make use of the information that we have right now? I put up an Insta story and I was kind of heartbroken by the response that I got. People telling me their stories with HPV and their experience. But also, what was actually heartbreaking for me was the lack of awareness. So many people and women have no idea what this is. Everybody at this point probably knows what HIV is. Everybody probably knows about chlamydia and gonorrhea and stuff. But so many women don't know about HPV. So this lady comments, trigger warning please. Maybe if you have a kid, they can take a break now. I take daily pills because I have HPV. I don't know where I got it from, but it's really sad. And then I told her, most likely a guy you were seeing. I wish more people knew about this. And then she told me this, trigger warning. Most definitely, it has put me through a lot of emotional torture, depression, low self-esteem. Now I have kids, and at times I remember that eventually I'll censor that one out of HPV and leave them. And what comes to mind is suicide, and also hurt the kids. I've tried to look for one, but like what she means is she wants to end her life and also the life of her kids. That's extreme. And I know this lady feels like this because there isn't so much information about HPV, guys. The thing is, there are so many variants of HPV, and maybe the one that is most problematic or worrisome is, like I said, is the ones, actually variants, is the ones that eventually, if not detected early, could lead to cervical cancer. So don't panic, don't worry. Even if you have HPV, your body can probably fight it. You can have medication and so on and so forth. But as long as you test yourself regularly and you have checkups, even if you have the reactive ones, you can be helped. This one also broke my heart. Was she said this: I also made this test 3 months ago and I have HPV. I was so scared at first because I never heard of it before, and no one talks about it, which is true. I called all my friends and I think 1 out of 10 knew about what it was. How sad is that? I'm still waiting to get new appointment that should have come by now. So Yeah, so she's still waiting to get a new appointment so she can get help. And I can tell you for sure, I've called so many people around me and maybe one knew about it. And the one that knew about it was Wura, whose mom made her do it, and also her girlfriend is a nurse. The rest, they did not know about HPV. Imagine that. Imagine that. And this lady went ahead and told me that she actually had the vaccine when she was 15 and she was a virgin. So that makes it really tricky, because if you have the vaccine, then it should help. But she was a virgin and she got it. So maybe the explanation to this, I think, could be that probably she comes from a high risk, and high risk is maybe if a family member, let's say your mom and stuff, had cervical cancer or something, then you're probably at high risk. I might think that maybe that is a possibility, but I don't know. And to make this worse, now I'm going to tell you my own story of confusion galore. Is some time back I got an IUD and I went through extreme reaction to it. I was faint, I blacked out, and I was actually constantly fainting from it, and I was bleeding like non-stop for like 2 weeks straight. On the 3rd week I had to go to the hospital because anemia. I had to. It was just extreme. And when I went there, the concern about HPV came up, of course, and then they were like, oh, are you vaccinated against HPV? I said, no. Are you sexually active? Yes. So they said I could not have the vaccine because I was already exposed to HPV. Are they right? Yes. Most likely at some point we have all been exposed. So you cannot go and judge someone like, oh, maybe they are promiscuous or not. It just takes one man. Go ahead and judge. Tell me about the only 2 men you have slept with, but it only takes one man, one woman, because you know it passes through other fluids, you know. Later on, now I'm having this test and I'm told that I could have had the vaccine then. Can you imagine how upset I am? And I had this conversation with Wura and Rosie, and they were also kind of shocked and they were upset. But I'm not the only woman. I've had so many confusing information that women are telling me on my stories, and it just breaks my heart that such a serious thing has so much conflicting information about it. But the only way around it is, one, either have protected sex, but it doesn't always go down like that. Also, judge me. And your partner could be a carrier because they got it from somebody else long time ago before meeting you. And you know, when you meet someone, you probably go do HIV, all these tests. But then HPV is never one of them that people go and be like, okay, let's check for HPV too. No, people don't do it. I'm not here to come and police you on how you should live your life or how you should conduct your sex life. That's up to you. But the only thing that I can recommend for you is please go test yourself, because when you test yourself, you can protect yourself, and when you test yourself, you can also save your life. That's all. That's all mommy had to say. Now I'm booking my vaccine and I'm gonna get it. I'm not telling you to do it. If you are past the age of 26, before you do this, please consult with your gynecologist before you take the vaccine. Hope you enjoyed this vlog. I know you guys care so much about family, boyfriend, expensive stuff, but today I just wanted to talk to you guys about something that could potentially save your life or even save my own life. And if you love this vlog, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, take care, my lovely girls. Oh yeah, Instagram. You thought I forgot. Get into it now. Otieno Rachel 8, that's the Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.